Hi, Sheila from She's a Sassy Lady, and I'm coming to you today a little bit concerned as to whether you're even going to see this video, but we're going to give it a try. My computer has crashed and I haven't got it fixed yet, and I'm borrowing my daughter's, so I'm not quite sure whether we'll have anything or not. So I'm going to try to do a quickie here that we haven't dealt with yet, and we really need to. This is, I've already opened up my Gypsy, so you need to catch up with me. Your Gypsy should be on. I went with the A2 template. That's where I have the A2 card. I've got it high and wide here. And what I want to do is I want to show you today, how do you weld letters together so that if you want something and have letters welded, but then have it also shadowed. You know, we all know how to do a letter and we all know how to make a shadow, but how do you make them match up? And that's an important thing. So what I'm going to do is start out with just, I'm using Alphalicious, and I'm using the short stack, and I'm going to do Sassy. Oops, I knocked it off short. Yeah. We want it on the short stack. Okay. Sassy, S-A-S-S-Y. And I'm going to make that a little bit larger. So right now they're 135. I want them 1.5 inches high. Oh, let's make them 1.75. There we go. Oops. 1.75. See over here, what I'm pushing is the two little balls. And what I want to do, I can either weld them by putting them together by using the kern button over here, and with that you just pull them in closer. See how it did that? Or I've seen some ladies, they just take and they tap the letter, and individually move each letter over like that so that they're overlapping. And we'll do it that way because I've shown you how to do the kern. So this is the other way to do it, is just make sure you highlight each individual letter and move it over until it's touching so that you can weld them together. There we go. And then after you do that, then you push your group button over here, then go back to advanced and your weld button. Whoops, sorry I didn't have them all collected there. Weld them all together. There we go. And see how each one of them in here, that's where it's going to cut, and they're each touching. So it'll be a nice one. I think I want to move that one S over just a little bit more so it's touching top and bottom, which means I then have to move my Y over and then take a look again to make sure that it's cutting, and it's cutting just perfect. Okay, now at this point I want to make a shadow for it. So what I'm going to do is add another layer on, and I am going to go back to my letters and touch the shadow. This is the short stack shadow, which is what we have. And I'm going to type in Sassy. Oh, wait a minute, before I do that, let's backspace. Let's make my cursor 1.75, because if you remember, that's the height that I ended up with the letter here. We want it 1.75, so let's set it 1.75 so that the height is the same there. Okay, now we'll go back, and we've got the rolly short stack, S-A-S-S-Y. And see how the letters, they don't match up. You got to remember, we moved them all around. So now we have to individually move all these letters again so that they fit all around. Okay, we've got the first S almost there. Just select it and make sure that it's just right around the letter. And I'm having a difficult time because I've got it so small. There, I've zoomed in, and now see how much easier it is to move that letter and maneuver it so that it is just centered just right. Okay, then the same thing with the A. Bring that over so that it's centered just right. The next S is over here. Bring that over. Make sure it's centered just right. And I've got the pan key pushed in. Remember the little silver button on the lower left hand corner. And then the S. And the Y. We're just going to do things with letters today. And then as far as the challenge, I'm going to let you do whatever you want. You just have to do letters, okay? Now we've got them all in there, and see how every one of them is just perfect around the letter. So we want to grab it, highlight it, go to the advanced key, weld it, and then check it to make sure that it's going to cut just right. And look at that. It's perfect, of course. Now I want to turn my Sassy into something, so I'm going to take this off. And I know that this is the back of my cut, so I'm just going to push it aside, not worry about it. And I'm going to deal with the front, that layer one, and that's my little Sassy. And I'm going to put it in the corner. Put it like this, right about here. And then I'm going to go back and do lady. I want to check the time here to see if I have time to do that. I'm just going to type in the word lady, but this time I'm going to use a capital L. So shift lock L back to lowercase A-D-Y, lady. Move that here, but I want my lady to fit funny in here. See how that's going to be? Now, isn't this interesting? Because we're going to do some playing around here. Sassy, we're going to take the L and we are going to stretch that L. And by that, I've just grabbed the L. I'm going to take off the link button, and the width of the letter is going to stay the same, but the height, I'm going to change that height. See what I did? So I have a Sassy lady. And I'll finish that up probably when we're on break there. But I'll have Sassy lady, and I'm going to move each letter over individually so that they all fit in here and weld together. That's my time. I have to be very careful and not go over in time, because remember, I've got my daughter's computer. So we're going to shut off here, and I'll come right back in just a minute.